This is the journey from scratch to success.
Hello everyone, welcome to From Scratch to Success, where I interview the most successful entrepreneurs about their journey. My name is Jayma, your host, and my hair is done by Norton. Today's guest, James Pratt, is an award-winning actor, director, and former four-time Australian auctioneer champion residing in LA, California. His most recent film work includes being executive producer on four-time Academy Award nominee Edward Norton's Longevity Hackers, associate producer on Harland Williams' new comedy film Wingman, and acting in The Three Killer Pigs alongside Brian Austin Green. James has won Best Director at the 2022 Cannes Film Awards, Best Actor at the American International Film Festival, and Best Actor at the Beyond Hollywood International Film Festival. At present, James is currently filming Eyes of Salt, starring opposite Hong Kong screen star Bernice Liu. Wow, I am so blessed to have you here with me today, James. How are you?
It's a real pleasure to be here. Thank you very much for having me.
Yes, of course.
Thanks for the nice introduction as well.
Wow, so much experience. I can't wait to hear all about it, James.
Thank you.
So let's start. Tell me your origin story. Tell me everything.
I guess the highs and the lows probably. There's been different careers throughout my life. I mean, growing up, I was obsessed with surfing.
Okay.
After high school, that was when I studied real estate and acting at the same time. Mm-hmm. And then I would say that probably when you talk about you have those sort of peaks and troughs in your life, the few standout moments would probably be I ended up in a small country town, outback Australia, made a short film that I was very proud of, but I had a budget of $200. So you can sort of imagine that it wasn't great, but that was sort of a high, even in the low point, because that wasn't where I meant to be. But that film did really well, so that sort of pushed me into Hollywood a lot more. Funny story about that, people that saw it thought I had a huge budget because I had these 1,000-acre wheat fields at sunset locations, and no one at NBC Universal thought I actually was living there at the time when I shot the short film. So I think that was sort of a moment that probably pushed me more in the direction of Hollywood. And then since then, there's been some really great films, some sort of really nice life experiences as well. Mm-hmm. And that leads up to this point where I'm sort of in front of the camera and also behind the camera.
Wow, that's so inspiring. $200? You shot a film?
A short film, 17 minutes, $100 for catering and $100 for... I had to hire the camera from this town that was about 50 minutes away. And the lady that I hired the camera off, she didn't understand what... She used to shoot rugby league games, for kids. I was trying to explain to her, I'm trying to shoot a short film, and she kind of... It was so foreign at that point. Could I just please borrow the camera and I'll drop it back on Monday?
Wow.
And everything else was just learning how to write, direct, act, produce. And the real sort of irony of it is all the things that I sort of lacked at that point, like say with $200, you had this incredible sort of art direction. So you had, like I said, you'd had wheat fields swaying at, 5 o'clock in the afternoon as the sun was setting. Yeah. Crop duster planes, sometimes flying over. Very much like Dances with Wolves sort of vibe. Which is when I entered it. It did very well at NBC Shorts Fest, and that led to a conversation with a lady called Joanna who was at Universal. They loved the film and they assumed that I had a feature film version of it. Wow. They didn't realize it was $200. They figured I'd gone there to shoot it. And then, long story short, a deal came out of that. But it was a really good moment. It was a life-changing moment in a time when you probably thought, well, what's a $200 short film going to do in the middle of nowhere?
Yeah, wow. And what's the name of the film, James?
It's called New York Model Agent.
Okay.
And then the deal that NBC bought the rights to was called Varelli.
Wow.
So, it's looking back, a lot of things could have been done differently, but it was just a really nice thing it was a nice thing to actually shoot while you're out there, something that had that sort of art direction and that sort of very isolation and lonely, but very, very beautiful.
Wow, I'm lost for words. Normally, I'm not lost for words, but I find it truly inspiring that you did that. What sort of motivate you and what inspired you sort of growing up, James? Tell me a bit more.
Well, it wasn't kind of like originally growing up, it was just all about the beach and surfing, and that was probably the inspiration up until I finished high school, and that was I think that's for everyone. It's kind of a sink or swim moment when you go from high school to now being an adult, responsibility. What are you going to do with your life? So, I mean, growing up, inspirations were obviously, professional surfers, Kelly Slater, Mike Stewart. Once you get to being an adult and you realize that, what's something you really want to do, like what is the thing that really makes you fulfilled? It was, movies that really stuck with me, Catherine Bigelow's Point Break, the original 1993 version. See, that film stuck with me for a long time. It was just a, cinematic masterpiece at the time. So I think it was a combination of obviously transitioning into film and learning about, Spielberg and James Cameron and people at that time that were creating these things that would leave a mark with you.
Wow. James, was there any early challenges that you faced and how did you overcome that?
There's like a lot of challenges. I think because my sort of passion is very much a lot of the films that I grew up with were all American films that were very like motivating and in all genres as well. So the Farley Brothers' Dumb and Dumber, which I think is very funny.
I love that film. I actually do, yes.
I think it's very funny as well. Like that style of comedy is very American. So if you want to do that style of comedy, you've got to get to LA or America. So likewise with genres. So when you're saying the challenges, I think is how do you go from being someone in Australia to working and living in America? Because you have the visa, you have to obviously have a plan. And also, I think the challenges are you don't always get people wanting to help you, meaning I think when I first was looking into getting the O1 visa, let's say I asked 10 people, I would say probably 8 of those 10 people, it's too hard, it's too much work. My friend tried it. And even like a casting director in Australia, I know they were very much like, there's more work in Australia than America right now, which was like ludicrous. But my point is, I think a lot of people actually, the challenges you face are the advice that you take on, meaning it was one person that had done the O1 and kind of just laid it out for me. And it was very simple after that. Like it's very achievable. It's just takes a bit of work, but it's very achievable. But if I'd listened to the 8 out of 10 people that were kind of putting it in the too hard basket, and even that casting director, then it's like, well, I'd probably be sitting here still trying to do it. Like it's just, I think that's a big challenge everyone faces.
Wow. Was there any doubt that you faced, like with yourself, within yourself, like throughout that whole process?
Well, I think that was the thing that I kind of learned with the O1 visa, if we're narrowing it down to that. I think it's one of those things where it's just about the hard work and you feel confident if you're putting the work in. So that saying where it's like confidence comes from actions?
Yes.
I think it's the same thing. I think if you're kind of hoping for the best or kind of putting like 50% of the effort in, then you're probably feeling like, oh, well, this could take a while. But if you put 100% of effort in, things get a lot easier because you get a lot more confident that they'll work out. And then that sort of offshoots onto other parts of life as well.
Wow. And would you say, James, like what is a crucial turning point for you? I know that you mentioned a short film before, but, was there any other sort of that turning point? Yeah.
That's a good question. Turning point. I think I've been very lucky. Like I've met people that have come into my life at a certain time, which I wasn't searching for, that have just been very generous to me for no reason. They've helped me out a lot. A couple of things I've done. I know I was in Canada in 2019 and I had a friend of mine from the real estate industry, and she connected me with her partner. He was putting together a film studio in LA, and like I didn't have the right credentials, but he put me on the film team, and it was like I was on this film team for 3-4 years, and everyone on that team had either won an Emmy or an Oscar or been nominated. And then there was me, and I was just soaking it in. You'd be on Zoom calls, you'd be talking to people. And so when I say like a turning point, I didn't think it at the time, but I think that's helped me a lot behind the scenes, learning how to be a producer, directing, the distribution side, because by default, I was just sitting in a room, with these people every single day, learning. And that certainly really helped me, I think, fast-track me. Looking back at the time, I didn't think it was a big deal. I've been very lucky and just super thankful that there's people that have come along or situations that have come along.
James, I feel like you are always so generous as well yourself, like with time and just how kind you are helping people, So I just feel like, wow, listening to what happened to you, and do you think that's perhaps how you're helping others now as well?
I hope so. I mean, you're very kind as well. Like, you understand it's that thing where I think you treat people the way you'd like to be treated. But also I've been very lucky too, so it's probably easier for me to sometimes be nice, but by nature, I think that's what you want to be anyway, a people builder.
That's beautiful, guys.
So, yeah.
All right, so what was your first successful milestone, and how did you feel?
How far back are we going? Are we going like high school or...
You can tell me. Maybe you can tell me too.
The success.
Or maybe later on, or whichever, yeah.
I mean, this is sort of a sec. I mean, I really, really, really wanted to win the high school surfing competition. I'd been duped like 3 years, because I used to do competitions, and I used to think, well, I'm doing competitions so that the high school one I could definitely win.
Okay.
And I used to think, I shouldn't have been thinking like this. That's probably why I didn't win. But since I was in grade 9, I was like, I can definitely win. And then I failed at the one in grade 9 because it was out of the whole school in grade 10, grade 11. And it was always runner up, or you got to the final 4. And I think it was my mindset, because I was in the wrong mindset, but I was thinking, well, if I'm doing a better competition with these people, obviously I can beat everyone in high school. And I just never did. It was just the waves didn't come in the final, or one time my leash came off, and it was just, long story short, I finally won it the year I left. So that was,
okay.
It doesn't sound like much, but I feel like at the time it was kind of it meant a lot to me, because I think I'd wanted it for 4 years. So that was definitely something,
yes.
That was a milestone I
okay.
look back on, yeah. Looking back, people are probably thinking it's not such a big deal, but yeah, I wanted it. Then yeah.
Yeah, I guess because you wanted it, so it means so much to you, right?
Yeah, I think I also feel like if you wanted it, you have a expiration date. You're going to graduate from high school, next year or the year after. This is the only chance you get to do it. So, yeah.
Well, the good news is now you can always play a surfer champion all the time in films.
Or I could just write myself a character where I am the champion.
That's correct.
Before I started, he's already a 5-time world champion. Yeah,
that's it. Yeah. Okay. Now, what strategies would you say that you used to help your self-growth?
I would say, just broadly speaking, I think getting really good at performing when it's uncomfortable, but then taking it a step further and getting very, very good at actually living when it's uncomfortable, because they're two different things.
Yeah.
And they're kind of I've spoken about this before, but it's that same thing where it's there is a better tennis player than Roger Federer. It's just he's really, really good at when he was playing, living out of a suitcase for 11 months of the year. And then he's really, really good at when he finishes the competition of just not trying to make it like he's living, for example, in Switzerland or Miami in a mansion and he has a masseuse and everything's great. It's no, he's really good at relaxing in a hotel room. And I think if you can separate your ambition and the road that you're going to have to go on to achieve your goal, and kind of that retirement feeling I could do this if I had more money, or if I could do this if, I had more people to help me, I could scale this business. It's you might have to wear multiple hats to make something happen. It's going to be uncomfortable, it's going to be bumpy, but that's the only way you're going to get there. So I think that's a strategy, just learning to live and work when it's uncomfortable and getting really good at that. So when tides change, you're like on autopilot.
Yeah, so try to live with it, like you said.
Yeah, and not misrepresent the situation, meaning I think in the film industry, I know a lot of people do really, really well. Like, I'm just throwing this out there, but it's like they do really, really well in like a scene class, or they do really well when it's like they get given something to learn and they've got, say, you know, a week, and then they know when they go to set, they'll have someone pick them up. They'll have like an assistant on set. It's all great. But then what they don't teach you is it's like, you know what, if it's a TV show in America, like there's a high chance the producers have rewritten that scene the night before, and you're gonna arrive there and they're gonna say, hey, we changed, here's your sides. You've got 10 more pages of dialogue, and by the way, like we're shooting your scene first, so you have 40 minutes to learn this. And the person that kind of gets iced up and is very much like, what am I gonna do? Like that's the person that hasn't got used to it. The person that's like, hey, I can thrive when it's uncomfortable and I'm given 40 minutes to learn pages, or I can thrive when you give me a week. But it's that mindset of really being able to kind of peak performance in the tough time.
Wow, I think that's such a great example that you've put in there. James, was there any lessons that you learned the hard way, and how did you overcome it?
I think the lessons sometimes in a broad scope, like let's say, the lessons in Hollywood, I think I learned the hard way is that, and I learned this the hard way because it actually took a trip to Hong Kong for someone to explain it to me not long after I was in America. And that lesson is, in the US, in Hollywood, it's very easy to get a meeting. Usually people take meetings with you in LA because they want to see what you're doing in case you can help them. So even if you get a meeting in LA and it's, let's say it's, you know, the vice president of this studio, there's a good chance they're meeting with you because they've seen your resume and they've seen you've worked with this person and they're trying to get an offer to that person. Or it's not like, oh, he's meeting with me, now I've got a job. And it's opposite in Hong Kong. It's like people only take a meeting with you if they think they can do business with you, because time is short and time is money. So when you say lessons learned the hard way, I think when I first got to LA, I lined up all these meetings and I was like, this is so cool. I'm meeting with the head of this person and this person, this person. And then it's like at the end of the month, it was like, these have just generated nothing. In fact, I'm getting follow-up emails asking, could I be introduced to this person? And it was that, I mean, it's a very sort of on the surface sort of answer, but yeah, like the hard way is, I think in the film industry, it's kind of, you have to really do your research, who you're meeting with you, and can you get something for that, or are you just filling in the free time you have in the day?
That's good to know, huh?
Yeah,
because I think most people wouldn't even.
Yeah, there's so many wasted meetings in LA, and you can, again, like you meet Australians over there who've had the same thing where they've they've been saying, oh, I got a meeting with this person when I first arrived and this person, and it's like, yeah, I did too, and it's like, I just wasted a month of just meeting people and then realized you have to be strategic, and people don't always be upfront with you as well. I mean, it's a sales game over there, and it's a fun ride to be on, but you have to treat it like a business, not like a TV show where, everyone's there to help each other.
Okay, wow. Very, very interesting intake.
Yeah.
So James, this is a big one. What keeps you going?
I would say the ride that you go on, like the rush, the highs and the lows, the identifying your personality trait, and everyone is different. I feel like some people are very ambitious, and if you're ambitious, it's like you don't want to just build a company, you probably want to get another company and scale that, and then, cross-promote and do a whole range of things. If your personality is you want to play it more safe and, have that, let's just say, I would say more comfortable lifestyle. Just identifying whatever it is that you want to do. I've identified with myself. I think part of the fun is just that ride you go on where it's like you put all the chips on the table. If you're going to, move to America from Australia, that's throwing the chips out there. But when you're there, you're going to really not play it safe and look for a forever job. You've moved there for a reason. Pursue that dream.
That's right.
So it's that. I think it's the highs that come off that. But then there's been some really, for my life anyway. Like there's some been great rewards that have come by putting all the chips on the table. Hasn't always been fun, but a lot of the time it's been, I guess, experiences that have kept me going.
That's really wonderful. I want to ask you, so when you first arrived in LA, was there times where you're like, you don't have work and you're just like so stressed out? Tell me about that and tell me how you actually overcome that fear and that self-belief, just keep going. I want to know that.
The thing that's really interesting is I think, and that's that, I don't want to say who has statistic that, but I have heard people talk about it before, which is you do your best thinking in critical thinking. So for example, if you drop someone like in a city and they had $10 to their name and they didn't know anyone, the thinking process that would go through that person is that it's such a sink or swim, ride or die. Like, what do I have to do? I'm prepared to knock on every single door because I have $10 to my name. Versus the person that, let's say, they fly business class or first class into a city, they've got friends and family they could crash with if whatever business venture didn't work. Their way of thinking is, I'm not going to knock on every door because, whatever, it's 6 o'clock and I've got an event to go to. So the thinking wise, I sort of found is the more, let's just say, dire the situation, it's interesting to like think how you think and kind of recognize that, okay, I'm sort of in critical thinking now. Like, I'm probably going to have a better idea now than before. And so I think that's probably been a thought pattern that I've registered. With LA, I will say it is a big city. So it's different than, let's say, you grew up in an area like Sydney, which feels very small after a while. In LA, it's very spread out. You see a lot of diverse sort of different sides. You see homelessness, $100 million houses in Bel Air. You see, beachside living. You see a whole range of different cultures. I think it's easier to kind of feel you'll get on your feet when there's just a real buffet of, different people. I think sometimes people don't understand that they feel very dire and very stressed, or it's because they're in a place where maybe there's only one or two industries, or maybe they're in a suburb where everyone's got doctor, lawyer, accountant, and so they're not seeing a lot of people who are going through the same thing they are. So it's looking a little more broader, and it's recognizing that, there's other people out there that are probably having a bad season in their life. But action creates confidence, and confidence then creates opportunity. So working on that.
I love that, James. I'm actually going to write that down.
Yeah.
That's really good, that quote there you had. I love it.
Yeah. I think the only other thing I say is there is an element of feeling humility too.
Yeah.
I saw some really... It's hard to kind of feel like you're down and out sometimes when you're overseas or you're living somewhere and you see someone who is homeless and you think, wow, like I am actually really lucky. Like my idea of a bad day is nothing compared to that person that's, struggling to simply just get water today. So I think there's that element too of putting into perspective that you're very, very lucky if you can get up, you've got your health, and you can actively pursue something you wanted that day.
So it's almost like gratitude towards already what you got, right?
Yeah, and not being like a spoiled child.
Yeah.
Like, the people and everyone meets them, but it's like they'll throw a temper tantrum if they're late in traffic, where it's like the person that should be throwing is the person that's homeless on the street who got, let's say they had a bad business deal and everyone doesn't believe them. It's like putting things into perspective.
Beautiful. What are some of the habits that you have to drive that success, James?
The habits, I would say, constantly being active, like movement's really important, like both exercise but also being active, like in whatever career you're doing. It's not just you waiting for the phone to ring. Open to learning. I think that's really a big thing. And just trying something once. Like, it's very much the hypocrisy of people when they talk about, people will talk about, this is what's going on the other side of the world, or can you believe this is what happened in this country? And it's like, have you ever traveled to the country? And it's like, no, they haven't. It's like, well, just travel to that country once and then you can speak with a bit more authority about what's really going on. So I think having that idea, being open to bigger and learning things, but also, just being ambitious and driven. That's like the highlight for me, I think.
So true. Now, James, how do you deal with burnout, fear, or criticism?
I would say with burnout, just making sure that you're aware that like sleep is the superpower. I did this, I was fortunate enough to work on this documentary called Longevity Hackers, which
Yes.
Edward Norton narrated.
Yes.
And it had some real, like, you know, it's got Brian Johnson, the man that's trying to live forever, and Wim Hof and Tony Robbins and these people. And they talk about just these little things that you can do. And it's not like you have to, I mean, Brian Johnson's living his life around anti-aging, but if you don't have that lifestyle and you're kind of, let's say you have very little time, it's like the one thing you can do is sleep. Like the one thing that, if you only have time for one thing that stops burnout or your health, it's sleep. That's the thing that really, so get as much of it as you can. And that will also help you later on in life. Criticism, I think I would say the best way to deal with criticism is that saying that people have, which is, what is it? You wouldn't take, you can't be offended by someone if you wouldn't take advice for them. So
True.
if someone is criticizing you and you look at them and they're not someone that you'd ever take advice from, it's like, why do you care? Like, it's just not, it's not important.
Yeah.
And also knowing, especially in the film industry, the way that the industry works, it's a very different business model, meaning people will criticize you when you're at the top, and if you're not a threat, then you're just a great person to be around. You're a neutral person. They can call you anytime. So I would say sometimes it's a recognition of you're kind of moving up a little bit if you're getting criticism. That would probably be the best way. And what was the other one? There was burnout, criticism, and
Fear. Yes.
I would say the best way to deal with fear is preparation.
Oh, that's
So
great.
the more prepared you are for something, the less scary it is. So, yeah.
Wow. Such great advice, James.
Yeah, well, I feel like there's been a few highs and lows that I've been through, which probably has helped kind of push some of these things in.
It's really beautiful. This one, James, what does success mean to you?
I would say success is, well, can be defined by like a bunch of, you know, some people might say it's materialistic. Some people might say it's, you know, again, something they have achieved physically, like an asset. I think maybe for me, success would be when you get to a place where you're able to replace that goal. So when you have done enough that you can let it go and put a new goal, you've succeeded. Like it could be really simple. I want to make my own feature film and I just want it to come out somewhere. I just want it to come out somewhere.
Yeah.
You've done that. It's a huge success because you did it. It doesn't matter anything else after that. So I think that's part of it, like being able to replace whatever you've set out to do.
Wonderful. Now, James, the next round, it's a quick engaging round. So short answers.
Sure.
Are we ready?
Sure.
Okay.
Let's make it quick.
Yes. A business book or podcast that changed your thinking?
I listen to quite a bit of Brian Tracy. He's good.
Great.
He's good. Old school, but good.
Okay. Best advice you've ever received?
Best advice ever received. It's okay to let go of friendships you've outgrown. This is more sort of a verse, I think, in the Bible, which is, as water reflects a man, so a man's heart reflects the man. It's really important in business that you're getting into business with someone that's got good intentions. So that's a good one.
That's beautiful. I love that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to question you what chapter, but we'll
I
look it
think
up.
it's Proverbs. I
Okay.
think it's one, yeah.
No, I love
Yeah.
that. Thank you. I'm going to look it
Yeah,
up
don't
after.
quote me. You let me know.
Yes,
yeah.
I will. Okay, if you lost everything, what would be your first move?
My first move, if I lost everything, would be to get a like a 10-cent book from Staples. Like if you're in the US, like Staples or Ralph's or Pavilions, wherever, like just a notebook. And assuming I have nothing, I'd go to one of those hotels that have, you know, like pens
Yes.
out the front for people to sign. I'd borrow that pen and I'd write up, like, actually physically write down a plan, like needs, wants, priorities, that would be the best way if I had nothing. So technically that would be like maybe 10 cents for the book. Or maybe I could try and borrow something, but that would be my first move, to physically write it down.
James, that is my favorite answer out of all my guests.
It's a 10-cent answer. Yeah.
That's really cool, really cool. What's one thing you wish you've done differently?
One thing I'd done differently, I would probably try not to have regrets, but I would say I would lean into enjoying the chaos. Like, it's something that I've really believe in, but it's like the bigger the obstacle, the bigger the triumph. So if you don't have like crazy things going on in your life, then you can't really expect something behind that's going to come that's good. So often, and I know with people that have been close to me, when they've had something that's been, let's just say, quite a drop off the cliff, it's like they've suddenly just been lifted off the ground twice as high, 12 months later. So leaning into not that chaos of like, okay, things aren't working out right now. This means something really big is coming up. You're getting in a position for emotional maturity to handle it, or you're getting in a position to be able to do it.
Wow. So what's next for you, James?
Pre-production in Eyes of Salt, which I'm really looking forward to. Really, really lucky to work with just everyone on that. Bernice Liu was really kind enough to be in it. She's a well-known actress in Hong Kong and Asia. The whole team there. I mean, Sasha, he's in Asia. Haley, she's from Rough House production company in the US. That's a really fun, I won't say fun, it's a really emotive drama that's got a lot of stillness but very, very visual. So that's coming out. It should have its festival debut before its sort of big premiere in the next 6 months. I was lucky enough to be associate producer on Wingman, which is coming up. So Jamie Kennedy, Kayla Wallace, if anyone watches Landman on Paramount Plus, Kayla, she's one of the series regulars. It's a great cast. Harland Williams directs, and he's in it. That's like a Dumb and Dumber comedy. So that's coming out in the next couple of months. And then I've got a couple other films coming out. Look out for Waxman and Three Killer Pigs.
Okay, yes.
They're both kind of thriller horror movies, which I'm an actor in. And then just about to start an action movie, which is in March, which is filmed on the East Coast, actually. It's not filmed in LA, which should be a bit like Burn Notice, but in a movie version. So,
wow.
So that could be cool. But I'm just, again, wearing a suit in Miami, Florida, kind of like after April, May, it's probably going to get a lot of sweat. It's not going to look like Burn Notice.
I'm sure you'll make it look good, James.
Hopefully, yeah.
Sure of it.
Hopefully.
Yes. So what's your future goal and dreams?
Set them really high. My goals are very much changing, but as the film industry is evolving, working into producing a slate of films each year. So 4 to 5 films a year that you're making. So the machine is constantly going round, and just obviously getting in a position where you can start to make content that motivates you rather than almost, you know how it is, you'll get like an audition, or you'll get like a film role offered to you, and it's like it's someone else's passion and you're not really close to the material. Like, it's not something that jumps to you, but it's, it's work and it's an opportunity to do what you love. To really push into that, where you can start making content that you're passionate about, that you think the audience wants to see as well. And obviously leaning into, pushing ahead with just personal goals. So learning more, being a better person, not stressing out as much. Yeah.
Do you get stressed out?
I feel like when I said leaning into the chaos is something I should have done. I feel like, pushing yourself with the idea that you don't need to push yourself and be even more stressed. It's leaning into the chaos because something good's coming.
So James, I want to ask you this last question. For someone that have a dream or have a goal, what advice will you give them?
If you've got a dream or a goal, you just have to go for it. Like you can't, even if you play it safe, that's never going to bring you anywhere near a level of fulfillment or comfortability with yourself. If your dream is to be a musician, then pursue it because it's the ride of getting there as well. It's that idea of you're living a life with purpose. I think the idea that money makes you happy, I can say from my experience, it doesn't make you happy. It almost makes you jealous of the people that have nothing. And that's why you see so many people so miserable. And especially in, you know, people that live in big cities, New York, you know, LA, even Sydney. Often the reason why they're just so unhappy is because, they're very successful, they've got a business, but they're looking at people that are doing what they love. And I think you have to value that as well. It's not just about a material side of things. You know, so whatever it is, it doesn't matter what it is. Like if you want to design fairy dust in the sky and skywriting and things like that, if that's your passion, like just go for it. And that's very commendable to me. Like I love seeing people that are doing what they really love doing. I've spoken about this story before, but this is probably a good way to tie that in. But it was just in LA, 2018, got an Uber ride at like 2 a.m. and it was in this really shady part of I was going back to where I live, which is West Hollywood. And I was in this shady part of Glendale, and I remember even the CVS where I was waiting, the person's like, oh, hey man, you don't want to wait in the car park. I would wait here if I was you. And I was like, if you're telling me that, then it's got to be real.
Yeah.
But I remember the person that picked me up was this 60-year-old lady driving the car, the Uber. And it was about a 25-minute ride home. And I remember talking to her, and I sort of kind of asking like, hey, like, you know, you're choosing to drive Uber at night at this time. And she said, well, it's too busy for me on the freeways in the day. And then she started telling me her passion was always to start a catering company.
Wow.
And she'd always been too scared. And it was like she was only driving Uber so that she could, and she'd budgeted out, if she drove Uber for 12 months, she'd be able to start her company that she'd always wanted to do. And I was blown away. Like, you know, you had me at you know, like driving Uber at 2 a.m. in the morning. I was already like impressed.
Yeah.
And she was saying that each month she'd sort of tick off a point of what she needed to do. So at that particular point, she got the website up, she got a business card, she got insurance, she started the LLC. That was the month she was in when she was driving me. And I kind of was just like, what you're doing is more inspiring than anything I've heard, like back in Australia, of people that are, you know, half your age. And I remember she gave me a card because she's very like, I've got my cards, like, do you want to see? And
yes.
I was like, I was just blown away. Anyway, I just remember a couple of years later I was moving and I found that business card and I looked up online, and it's like her company had like over 150 employees on the website. Wow. And this is like 5 years later. So she would have been 65, 66. And under her bio, because she didn't have like, oh, I've done hospitality for 25 years. It just said catering is my life.
Wow.
But I was like, here's this lady at 61 driving Uber at 2 a.m. in a shady part of LA. 5 years later, has over 150 people working for her, and she's doing what she loves. And I feel like that to me was like a realization of, like you pursue what you love doing, and that's where your heart will be.
Wow. Very remarkable story.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that, James.
No problem.
So now, how does viewers get in touch with you if they want to reach out to you?
Sure. Probably social media, James_Pratt7 at Instagram, James Pratt7 on Twitter. It's the same, LinkedIn, YouTube.
Everything,
And then prattfilms@gmail.com. Shoot me an email anytime.
Wonderful. Well, James, I just want to say thank you so much for coming in today. Like, it's truly a blessing to have this conversation with you. And I just feel very honored to have met you on your trip this time. And it's a conversation I'll hold dearly in my heart.
Thank you so much for having me, and look forward to seeing you back in LA.
Yes.
Soon. Very soon.
That's right. Hopefully, yes. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode of From Scratch to Success. I truly feel inspired. Stay tuned, and I will see you on the next episode. God bless you.